Since 2007, Carlos Ruiz has crouched behind the plate as the regular catcher for the Phillies, handling all responsibilities thrown his way. It's no secret that Chooch was behind the dish during one of the best runs in franchise history, calling the game and working with the pitchers from first pitch to the final outs. The team's receiver has earned the respect of each and every person that takes the mound and eyes the plate, looking for the sign. It's time to add to your collection. Tonight, all fans coming to Citizens Bank Park receive the Ryan Howard Bobble figurine as we get set for Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Phils and the Seattle Mariners. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Jamie Moyer. Good win last night for the Phillies, and a nice outing by Jerome Williams in his Phillies debut here at Citizens Bank Park. And after the ballgame, he did something that you did often, Jamie. He talked about Carlos Ruiz. He said, Chooch, that's the reason he was successful last night. That was basically it. Just working with Carlos Ruiz, I'm doing things I never did before this year. He has confidence in me to do it, and I have confidence to go out there and do it. And I'll tell you, the comfort level really did show last night for Jerome.
Yeah, you know, the way Jerome is talking and the way he's pitching right now, you almost feel like he's been here the whole year. And I think a lot of that is the confidence that he has in Carlos Ruiz. And that's who we're here to talk about. And you think about so far this year, Carlos has had to try to handle 25 pitchers that have thrown to him over the course of the season. He's taking foul balls off the mask. He's blocking balls. He's calling pitches. He's in tough situations. And, oh, yeah, by the way, he's also supposed to hit the ball, too. So Carlos is being asked to do a lot of things from that role as a catcher, and he's doing it very well, but he's gaining the confidence of his fellow pitchers.
Well, and he has been one of the steadier players here in Philadelphia since he first arrived. Well, tonight he's back in there, and he's going to have to deal with the kid. I don't even want to say he's a kid. He's a kid to major leaguers, Hisashi Iwakuma, who has been the real star for the Mariners out on the mound.
Yeah, this guy, he has a great ability. He started his career as a professional pitcher in Japan, and he had some up and down years we'll get into during the course of the game. We'll talk about that. But since coming to the United States and pitching with the Seattle Mariners, he's been very, very effective, and he does it with a wide array of pitches. He has two different types of splits that he throws. He's got a couple breaking balls, and he's got an above-average fastball, and he's got a lot of confidence, and he brings that confidence because of his past experience pitching in Japan.
Remarkable to think of a 1-2 punch. Felix Hernandez, who's probably the best pitcher in the American League, and Iwakuma. That's a heck of a 1-2 punch for the Seattle Mariners. Tonight is Game 2, and it is Iwakuma making his 21st start of the year. A.J. Burnett, boy, A.J.'s really trying to get back in the win column. He's really been struggling over the last handful of starts. He's making his 27th start of the season. Well, it's been a remarkable revival for Ben Revere. He finds himself second in the National League in hitting right now coming into tonight's ball game. Amazing. He's doing it with a sore foot, and he's doing it consistently. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. fact, they were probably having more fun with him. Endy Chavez had the Fanatics key, so he could not get the ATV off the field in time, so they made him do some tricks in order to get the key back. Usually the Fanatic has a spare with him, but today he didn't. Look how much they're laughing. Look at Kendrys Morales laughing. So then he finally goes to the police officer. That's a big police officer. I'd give him the key. It was funny. Every time a team comes into town that hasn't seen the Fanatic in a while, they laugh at everything he does, and that's what the Mariners have done the last couple of days. The fans got a kick out of it over the third base dugout, too. Let's take a look at the Mariners starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Austin Jackson leads it off in center field. Then Dustin Ackley. Robinson Cano bats third. Kyle Seager fourth. And then the next few hitters, Logan Morrison, Endy Chavez, Mike Zunino, Brad Miller, and Iwakuma, who has had one at-bat this year. A.J. Burnett is ready to go. Austin Jackson digs in. Game 2 of this 3-game series. And the first pitch of the night. Fastball upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. All right, so A.J.'s numbers, 26 starts this year, 6-13. His last victory came on July 11th against the Washington Nationals. And he's quickly fallen behind 2-0. All right, Jamie, here's a scouting report. He certainly has faced the Mariners before.
Well, he has seen the Mariners. He got a career 3-3 record with a 3.57 ERA. And he's a 3-pitch pitcher. You know, fastball mid-90s, can get up to the mid-90s. A curveball that he relies on heavily, and a changeup that he uses. I think he could use it a little bit more. I think he could be far more effective with more usage of the changeup.
Last time he faced the Mariners was in May of last year with the Pirates. Jackson just walked on 4 pitches, so he's aboard to start the ball game. All right, it's time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
Yeah, tonight my first key is for the Phillies to lay off of Iwakima's split-fingered fastball. He throws 2 of them. He throws a softer one, and then he throws a put-away split. And my other key is to nullify the middle of the Mariners lineup, just like Jerome Williams did last night.
Yeah, Cano and Seager are 2 of the best 3-4 hitters in the American League. Here's Dustin Ackley, who takes outside. So that's 5 in a row thrown out of the strike zone by A.J. Ackley had 3 hits in last night's ball game, including 2 doubles. Jackson has stolen 11 bases this year. He's been caught 5 times. He has stolen 11 between the Tigers and the Mariners.
Since the arrival of Jackson, the Mariners. There's a stolen base there by Jackson. The Mariners' winning percentage is .688. They're 11-5 since they've acquired Austin Jackson from the Detroit Tigers.
That's amazing. There are some teams that thrive after they make these deadline deals, and Lloyd McClendon's team has done so to a certain extent, and there are other teams that have struggled, like the A's, who have struggled since they made that trade with the Red Sox.
Well, and that's the million-dollar question when you're going out to potentially acquire somebody at the trading deadline. And you usually don't find out the answers until you either make the trade or you don't make the trade.
Well, right now, A.J. Burnett is having a little trouble with his command. 7 straight out of the strike zone to begin this inning. Well, there's ball 4, so he's walked the first 2 hitters on 8 pitches. I have to admit, I don't think I've ever seen this before. Not to start the game, at least. During the 2014 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Last night, Williams had great command against the Mariners, and he neutralized this guy. As Jamie said, he was 0 for 4. Robinson Cano was.
Robinson was very aggressive early in the count last night. And, really worked into Jerome Williams' favor.
Jackson goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw to third is not in time. Stolen base number 12 for Jackson, number 7 for Ackley. So 2 steals in the inning for Austin Jackson. Boy, he was able to hang on to that bag. It looked like he was going to go right off that bag. Cody Ashley had a little trouble stopping his momentum around the third base bag. See Cano's numbers against his former teammate. Phillies will play the infield back. They'll concede a run for an out. Just inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, as a starting pitcher, this is not a good feeling. First inning, second and third, you're having trouble with command, and you've got nobody out and 3-hole hitter at the plate who can do a lot of damage with driving the ball out of the ballpark, hitting the ball through the gap. You know, you're really trying to find a tempo, and you're trying to find a place that you can go in the strike zone to get back into the count.
Well, there's a soft chopper. It's going to get a run home. It'll move the runner over to third. 4-3 on the putout. So 1-0 Seattle. I know we talk about this often, but in this situation, this is where you're trying to minimize the damage as a starting pitcher if you can. And I guess that's the objective of A.J. Burnett at this point.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, first and foremost, he's got to find the plate, but he has to find the plate with quality pitches, which he really struggled to do with Ackley and Jackson. Unfortunately, he was able to keep Cano in the infield and only give up a run there. Here, if he could miraculously find a way to get a pop-up, get a strikeout, and somehow find that third out with only giving up 1 run, we might be calling him a magician.
Well, he's high on that first pitch to Kyle Seager. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Seager had a hit in last night's ball game. He was 1 for 3. Runner over at third.
And so far, where AJ's been missing, he's been missing up. So to me, that's telling me he's not getting his hand out of his glove potentially, and his fingers are not able to get on top of the ball to create that downward plane that he really needs to have to survive as a pitcher.
Well, he dropped that breaking ball in. Seager looked like he was taking a strike. This has been a solid year for Seager. 18 home runs, 77 runs batted in.
Well, the thing I noticed with Kyle Seager, he's really not afraid to get deep into a count. He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. He has a great eye at the plate. He can take a lot of borderline pitches. He's a very confident hitter, and that's why he has the success he's had. In driving in 77 runs, hitting 18 home runs. He's not really hitting for average, but he's a key part of this Mariners offense.
Yeah, and his numbers have been good power-wise the last 3 years. 20 home runs, 22 home runs, and now 18. But Burnett's ahead 1-2. Swing and a miss. Very good breaking pitch. 2 outs here in the first. Strikeout number 137 on the year for A.J. Burnett.
Well, here A.J. makes a very quality pitch with a curveball and gets Seager to swing through it. And that's what I was talking about. If he could have gotten a strikeout or a pop-up for that second out, now he can go to work on Logan Morrison. And if he falls behind him or doesn't like the type of situations he can pitch around him and then go after Indy Chavez. But if he can minimize this and get this third out with leaving Ackley at third base, you kind of have to look at this as a successful inning for AJ.
Morrison has hit here in this ballpark quite often as a member of the Marlins as he takes that breaking ball. Overall hitting .233, 6 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Mariners acquired him this past off season. Taps that foul 0-2. Well, it looks like he's found the command of that breaking pitch as this inning has unfolded.
I believe somewhere in this at bat he's going to see that same, or he's going to try to throw that same curveball that he threw to Kyle Seager for the strikeout.
Well, he tried to backdoor it. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. AJ is 46th on Major League Baseball's all-time list of strikeouts with 2,317. His problem, though, this was a problem early on in his career, and from time to time during the course of his big league career, he's just walked so many batters, including 2 in this inning. Ground ball back toward the middle. Utley can't get it into center field. Scoring from third is Ackley, and it's 2-0 Mariners. And that should go down as a base hit for Morrison as he picks up his 25th RBI of the year. I don't think if Utley had gotten to it, I don't think he would have been able to throw out Morrison anyway.
Yeah, Morrison's got pretty good speed down the line, but Chase would have, at some point there had to be able to stop and turn his body or do that jump throw that Derek Jeter does so well. And try to get something on it to get the ball back across the diamond to Ryan Howard.
2 outs. Endy Chavez the batter. The runner goes. The pitch is high. The throw to second is in time. 3 stolen bases in the inning for the Mariners, but not this time for Logan Morrison. Seattle takes a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first. First inning. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Not too much different than other lineups against a right-handed pitcher, with Revere leading off, Ashe batting 8th, and of course the middle of the order still with Utley, Howard, and Marlon Byrd. And as Ben Revere comes to the plate, you guys were talking last night about the where Ben Revere's hits have gone this year. Well, Murph's done a little research on it. Murph?
I have indeed, Tom. I promised Jamie that I would find that information out last night, so we have it for you. As you guys mentioned in the open, 141 hits so far this season for Ben Revere. That ties him for 4th in baseball. 124 of those are singles. So where have they gone? Well, take a look. You see, right back up the middle, which is, Jamie, what we were talking about last night. 57 of those hits, at 74% off the fastball, going right back up the middle. 39 hits over towards from the shortstop towards the third base bag, and then 45 hits from about the second baseman over to the first base bag. So using all fields is Ben Revere, but the ones you remember most, I guess, guys, really are the ones where he's driving them right back up the middle, right past the pitcher, and out into the outfield. That's what he's been able to do, it seems like, time and time again during this stretch.
Yeah, I think that, Murph, and I also think with the third baseman playing in, which most of them do. Now, Seager just went back to the edge of the grass. He's been able to slice a number of those balls during this streak into left field as well. He fouls that one away, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Well, Iwakuma's numbers, this is his 21st start. He's got good size, 6'3", 210 pounds, 11-6 with an ERA of 2.72.
How about in August? He has a 0.84 ERA. That's pretty impressive. He comes at you Again, he's a pretty polished pitcher. He's got a good fastball anywhere from the upper 80s to low 90s.
He just struck Ben Revere out on 3 pitches.
And a curveball that he doesn't use a great deal, and the slider, but he has a split, and he throws 2 different splits. One's a softer split, kind of a get-me-over split, and then a put-away split. Here, just plain old fastball down and excuse me, there's a split right there. Throws it down and away, and it almost looked like it sank.
Yeah, watching highlights of him over the last couple of days. See, that's one right there, but that looks like a split, but it's a fastball. But his real good split with 2 strikes, I mean, it is down in the dirt. No balls and 1 strike to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins did not play last night. Andres Blanco played. And Blanco hit a 3-run home run. And quickly, Iwakuma is ahead, no balls and 2 strikes on Rollins.
Well, I know when I played, I used to hear hitters talk about, hey, when you see a split or a guy has a split, when it looks like it's elevated out of his hand or on its way in, that's the one you want to swing at. The ball that looks like it's down out of his hand, that's the one you want to take, because that's the one that's going to drop out of the zone.
Rollins reaches out and pokes it to right center field, a base hit. That breaks an 0 for 9 for Jimmy. And he's aboard with a 1-out single. Breaks an 0 for 9 for Jimmy, but also elevates what has been a really tough month of August offensively for him. And now Chase Utley coming to the plate. Utley's average at 286. He's hitless in his last 8 at bats, including 0 for 4 last night. Mariners set up to try to turn 2. Seattle's been a very good defensive team, even with all the changes they've had at shortstop, between Brad Miller playing shortstop tonight and Chris Taylor played shortstop last night. But they have Robinson Cano at second base, and he's one of the best defensively at that position, and also turning double plays. Utley slices it foul. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Robinson makes it look so easy, doesn't he? I mean, in the way he just goes about his whole demeanor defensively is very nonchalant, but he's a very good defender. He's got a very strong arm, and you know, he carries himself very well. He has a lot of confidence in his ability, not only as a defender but as a hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike to Utley. One ball, 2 strikes. That was a slider that broke over for a strike. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Dale Conrad of Allentown, Pennsylvania. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, then Dale will win $100. Fly ball, shallow left field, over toward the line. The shortstop Miller is out in foul territory, makes the catch. Yeah, there are 2 outs. So Utley's retired, and that'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate. Iwakuma is considered a kid in Major League Baseball terms because he's only been pitching in the States for the last 3 years. But he's 33 years old. He won 107 games while pitching in Japan. An excellent earned run average of 2.75. I know the game's different over there compared to the States, but 2.75 is somewhat of a dominant ERA no matter what league you're in. Delivers a strike on a fastball. It's 0-1. He started pitching in Japan in 2000. was 1 for 2 in yesterday's game. Just off the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. That was one of the splits.
What's interesting, his slider and his split are about the same velocity, but obviously do 2 different things. As obviously the split will break down and the slider kind of breaks across and potentially down if he gets on top of it.
Tonight is the Ryan Howard bobble figurine, and it was given out to all fans. Ground ball foul, and it's 1-2 to Howard. Phillies won last night's ball game despite the fact they left a bunch of runners on base. They've been in one of those spurts recently where they are leaving guys on base, but the way Williams was pitching, the 3-run home run by Andres Blanca, that was really all he needed.
Oh, it's interesting. Chooch hit in the second hole last night. He walked his first 3 at bats. Ryan walked twice last night. Marlon Byrd got a big hit to give him the first run. So they played a good game.
A little different story in the first inning here tonight as AJ Burnett will go back to work. Visiting the Fanatic Attic, getting a chance to enjoy all of the fare at the Majestic Clubhouse store. Well, this Friday, the Phillies will welcome in the St. Louis Cardinals. On Friday, it's Star Wars night, benefiting Stand Up to Cancer. To help support this cause, purchase your tickets through theme nights at Phillies.com. It's the first of a 3-game series. It wraps up on Sunday at 1:35. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. All right, inning number 2 for A.J. Burnett. Burnett will face Endy Chavez, as well as Mike Zunino, the catcher, and Brad Miller. Chavez hits one to the right side, backhanded by Chase Utley. I have to tell you, Endy's had himself a solid career, but that seemed to be all he did when he was with the Phillies back in 2005, is roll into a 4-3. Now, that was hit a little sharper, but he's a great guy. And like I said, he's had himself a heck of a career, but when he was with the Phillies in 05, he would ground out to second base a lot. Here's Zunino. He takes a breaking ball, and it's 0-1. Out of the University of Florida, 18 home runs, 45 runs batted in. He was the 3rd overall pick by the Mariners in 2012. Fastball on the outside corner. It's 0-2. Three straight strikes for A.J. Burnett to begin the second.
That's good to see. Made some adjustments between innings. Come out in the second, fire and strikes.
Talked about the walks and how they've been problematic for A.J. Burnett. He walked the first 2 batters on 8 pitches tonight. This year in 26 starts, he's averaging just a hair under 4 walks per 9 innings. He's walked at least 4 in 10 of his starts this season. There he just powered a fastball by Zunino, and there are 2 outs. By comparison, for A.J., in the last 2 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates, he was doing more of this because the walks were at 2.9 per 9 innings. This has been a heck of a jump in a way that he obviously doesn't want it to jump.
Yeah, and it just, it makes it a little more difficult for him to pitch by, because he's walking so many guys, and you're pitching under duress a little bit more, and you're not able to find the strike zone on a consistent basis.
Brad Miller takes a fastball upstairs, 1-0. Miller was a pinch hitter in last night's ball game. He was 0 for 1. Two and 0. Two balls, no strikes to Miller. Well, Jamie, you asked for changeups, and that was a pretty good one right there by A.J. Burnett.
That was a very good changeup and a fastball count. And again, I just think that A.J. doesn't give his changeup enough credit and use it enough. And I think the more he uses it, the more confidence he will get with it.
That curveball sailed. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. There's walk number 3 in tonight's ball game. Now it does lift his pitch count, obviously, but it does bring Iwakuma to the plate, who only has 1 at bat here in 2014.
And the frustrating thing for a pitcher is when you're in this mode where you can't find the strike zone consistently with a pitch, and you keep wanting to use it, especially with your fastball. It's a struggle, and you end up starting to fight it. And sometimes you become your own worst enemy.
Well, as you mentioned, he made some kind of an adjustment in between innings, and we'll see if he can get back to the way he threw to Chavez and Zunino. And Iwakuma backed off that first pitch from him. Fastball that sailed inside.
I think sometimes the lack of fastball location comes from trying to overthrow pitches. That curveball is more of a finesse pitch. The changeup is more of a finesse pitch. The fastball is more of a power pitch.
Well, here he's fallen behind 2-1. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Atlanta Braves have taken a 1-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Aaron Harang with an RBI single. See, Jamie, pitchers can hit. Braves are 6 games behind the Washington Nationals as we begin play tonight. Nationals won another walk-off last night, and they're hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks again. They've won 7 straight. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Iwakuma. Chopper right side. Chase Utley takes the easy hop. Iwakuma still has the bat in his hands. as he runs halfway up the line. No runs, no hits, and one man left. Middle of the second with the Mariners up 2-0. Eagles 2014 season ticket sweepstakes continues with 2 lower-level tickets to every home game up for grabs. To enter, like Matt, just answer this week's poll question. Which road game will be the toughest matchup? Then fill out the entry form at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/CSN Philly. Matt did it the other day on the air. He decided to submit the game against the San Francisco 49ers out at Levi's Stadium. Not Levy Stadium, but Levi's Stadium. Here's Marlon Byrd to lead it off.
I wasn't aware that Matt could multitask.
Yeah, once he got the iPad rolling, he was okay with it. And then he looked at the CFL standings to see how his team was doing. I don't remember which team he was rooting for. Marlon Byrd hitting .270 with 23 home runs, 71 runs batted in. He had a hanger right there, and he fouled it back. It was a hanging slider, and it's 0-1.
6 more.
Isn't there a team, the Argonauts?
Toronto, yeah, Toronto Argonauts.
Matt doesn't seem like an Argonaut fan.
No, I don't think so. 0-2. For some reason I thought he said he was an Edmonton Eskimo fan, but I may be overstepping my bounds on that. Marlon is tied for 3rd in the National League in home runs, and he has struck out on a breaking ball. That's the 3rd strikeout for Iwakuma. He's not necessarily a strikeout pitcher, but he has 3 in an inning and a third.
I hear you see a good slider that's down. The one thing he's been able to do is keep the ball down. I'm going to refer to him tonight as Kuma, because that is his nickname, and I know I can get that one in. Kuma.
Well, you see 2 balls, 17 strikes so far. He's only walked 12 in 140 in the 3rd innings. Dominic Brown is the batter, and Dominic chops it off the plate. There are 2 outs here in the second. Well, we mentioned the Washington Nationals have won 7 straight. They're part of this homestand next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All 3 games are at 7:05. You can order tickets for the rest of this Mariners series this weekend against the Cardinals and the games against the Nationals by going to Phillies.com. By the way, Matt's favorite team, as he just told me, is the British Columbia Lions. Taking a long time to go to a home game.
Yeah, I wonder how that came about. Probably has a couple buddies that play there.
It could. Ruiz takes a strike. It's 0-1.
How about some of his buddies that visited? Maybe one of those guys played there.
A couple of them looked like they could have. Ruiz lines one into right field, a base hit. They had a really interesting shift on against Carlos. Robinson Cano was shaded toward the middle as the second baseman. Not that he would have caught that one, but Carlos sliced it the opposite way.
Right there, as you see what Tom was referring to, where Robinson Cano was. And they really gave him the first base line, trying to take away up the middle in the hole between where normally between the first baseman and second baseman, and they gave him the first base line.
Now the Phillies have 2 hits so far tonight, and Cody Ashe's the hitter, making his 83rd start of the season. Takes a breaking ball outside. It's 1-0. Ashe was 1 for 3 in last night's ball game. And counting the last couple games on the road, in fact the last 3 games on the road, his numbers are pretty good over the last 4. And he grounds that one, or chops that one to first. Logan Morrison, an easy step to the bag. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left for the Phils. We've completed our first 2 innings. We'll go to the third in a 2-0 ball game. Question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Jamie. The question is, who has the second most Silver Sluggers all time by a second baseman behind Ryne Sandberg? The answer will be revealed a little later on. Well, our good friends at McDonald's are unveiling, at least in this area, and it's been unveiled in other areas over the last couple of months, the shaken flavor fries. And we're being given a tutorial on how to use them right now. Basically, take the fries, put them in a bag with the flavoring. You dust the flavoring on top of it. All right, so the flavoring's in there. I have ranch. You have buffalo. Okay, and then you shake them. We'll shake like you're shaking a salad. Jamie eats salads. I don't eat salads. This is something that McDonald's did about 10 years ago. Started over in Hong Kong, and have brought it over to the States over the last several months. And they're being unveiled, and they're all around the Delaware Valley now. But you get a chance to. You like them? Mm-hmm. They are very good. Mm-hmm. They're definitely the flavoring. So if you get a chance. We talk often about McDonald's. Obviously, McDonald's has that great sponsorship each and every game, where we give out money for home runs for the Phillies, and they've been a great partner of the Phillies for a long time. So if you get a chance, their fries are the best out there anyway, and now they've just added to it. You got garlic parmesan, zesty ranch, and spicy buffalo.
Try one.
This is the buffalo. Mm-hmm. Here, you can try the ranch.
Is there a game going on?
There is. You should have popcorn, hot dogs, and now French fries at a game. We're going to start a new thing. And it's easy to do. Well, those are good. Those are good. But we always appreciate McDonald's coming out and giving us some great treats. We've had the Sundays from time to time, quarter pounders from time to time, and now we've got the shake and flavor fries. McDonald's, we're loving it.
Yes, we are.
There we are. Here's Dustin Ackley with one man down, and Ackley pulls it toward right field. On the run is Marlon Byrd out toward the scoreboard over his head, and a one hop off the board. Yeah, that is the 25th double of the year for Ackley. And that's just the second hit given up by A.J. Burnett. Boy, the spicy buffalo is spicy.
Tasty.
I guess the name really fits. See Marlon getting that throw in quickly.
It's amazing though how the flavor. I mean, it's real. I mean, it's good.
Well, I think anybody. I think a lot of people would admit that the McDonald's fries are the best from a fast food standpoint, but this just adds a little kick to it, and it is delicious. Here's Robinson Cano. He grounded out his first time up. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1.
A couple of napkins would have been nice.
Use the outside of the bag if you want to.
You're going to have to.
Well, McDonald's in the greater Philadelphia region were selected as a test market, as we mentioned, and there have been a number of other markets around the country where it's been very successful. And they've been doing this overseas. We said in Hong Kong, that's where it began 10 years ago, and it's sort of evolved in other places before it's come here to the States. No balls and 2 strikes to Robinson Cano. Cano picked up an RBI his last time. 69 RBIs in the year. He may not be hitting home runs like he did for the Yankees, but it's turned out to be a good offensive and defensive pickup for the Mariners. And a fastball on the inside corner. Strikeout number 3 for A.J. Burnett. 2 outs here in the third.
Well, I will say, we see this pitch here. He's at one of those off the hip sinkers and comes back over the plate for a called strike 3. And it looked like it fooled Robinson Cano there. But talked to a couple of the Mariner players today, and they're very impressed with younger players that were very impressed with Cano and King Felix, how they interact with their teammates, and they're a big part of the team. And even though they are maybe the premier player or superstar type players, they really are part of the team, which I know the players that I talked to were really respectful to that and really appreciated that. You don't always see that, and that's why I wanted to bring that to light. I've never had the good fortune of playing with Robinson. Played with King Felix when he first came up to the big leagues, and knew he had a lot of talent. Didn't know where his career would take him, and it's pretty special to see King Felix grow into the pitcher that he has grown into. And now, he teams up with Robinson Cano. The Mariners obviously went out this offseason and made that big acquisition of Robinson Cano, and it's really benefited. And you're right, Tommy. He's not hitting as many home runs, but he's in a bigger ballpark. It's more of a pitcher's ballpark.
That is true. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kyle Seager. And a foul tip, 1-2.
Another changeup.
Logan Morrison's on deck. Up and away, 2-2. Seager was a strikeout victim his first time up. Swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking ball. Nice job by Ruiz to block that. And he finishes off the strikeout with a toss to first. 4 strikeouts for A.J. Burnett. Well, remember, they're not just McDonald's fries anymore. They're shaken fries. You can still get the regular ones. Then Rich, our camera operator, he just left with them. There's plenty to go around, though. To you by McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. First pitch to A.J. Burnett is a strike. A.J. is hitting 146, no homers, 1 RBI. 1 ball and 1 strike. That ball kind of slipped.
Slider that backed up. Well, Tom, since we talked about AJ's start, our great statistician Carl Graver did some research for us and found that the last pitcher to walk the opponent's leadoff and second hole hitter of a game on exactly 8 pitches was Ryan Dempster of the Cubs, and that would have been May 3rd. 2011 versus the Dodgers.
He's a guy that you would expect would have some good command. Dempster. Yeah, it doesn't happen that often that somebody would do it. Not something that AJ wants to do again.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not very proud of it. Nobody would be proud of that.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. And he slices it foul.
And it's a very lost feeling when you're on the mound and that happens. You just can't, and you're searching, you're trying to find it without, trying to show any emotion. And like you say, sometimes the harder you try, the worse it gets.
Well, although he's walked 1 additional batter, it does seem, at least over the last couple of innings, that he's found more command. I think his curveball has certainly helped that out, or his breaking pitches have certainly helped that out. The count is full, 3-2. Over to the left side, Seager. Well, it's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Ben Revere waiting for AJ to get back to the dugout before he steps up. I mentioned that Ben is second in the league at hitting right now at .315, at least coming in. Justin Morneau leads the way at .323. Yasiel Puig is right behind Ben at .313. bright skies have been shining bright on Ben offensively, really since the 1st of June. In fact, the last 46 games, he's hitting .372.
If Kuma gets that pitch all night, it's going to be a long night for the Phillies. That ball, I believe, was below the zone.
Back toward the middle, and nice play by Miller, who spins and throws to first with a rocket arm. And Revere is thrown out 6-3 on the putout. Anytime the ball goes toward the middle like that, now that one was hit a little sharper than some of the others Ben's hit. You would think he'd have a chance for a base hit, but Miller evaporated any chance by firing over to first.
Well, Brad Miller got to that ball rather quickly and did his little pirouette and really got a lot on that throw and really wasn't close.
So Ben limps back to the dugout. Here's Rollins, who singled his first time up. At the knees, 0-1. And 2. And he picks up another strikeout, ties Rollins up inside. So strikeout number 4 for Iwakuma. It's a pretty quick inning for the right-hander. We'll go to the 4th inning here in Philadelphia with the Mariners on top 2-0. Park, Logan Morrison, Andy Chavez, and Mike Zunino will be the hitters. Before the ball game tonight, Matt Rule, the head football coach at Temple University, threw out the first pitch. Matt was there with his son at his side. Fanatic was able to catch that strike. It is getting to be football season. And for more on that, here's Greg Murphy. Murph?
You know what, Tom, it is just around the corner, football season, and we are with Matt Rule, the head football coach at Temple University in your second season. And you got all the guys here, all 105 guys here tonight. You just finished 2 days. How things go as you get ready for this season?
It's been a great fall camp, and this is such a great reward to come out and see the Phillies play. So I know the guys are fired up to be out here.
Talk about as you guys get ready for this season, your second season as the head guy. You've been at Temple before. We'll talk about that in a minute. But are you excited to get this thing underway? You feel like these guys are ready to go to compete?
Yeah, I think we have a really good team. You know, they've come a long, long way. I'm proud of them, and I'm excited to watch them play. I hope they win a lot of games because they've worked really hard, and they know how to play the game the right way.
Folks may or may not remember that you were part of the Temple program with Al Golden when Al was the head coach, and then you went off to the NFL for a little bit, and now back at the college ranks. How nice is it to be the head of your own program now and get a chance to develop Temple football in your own style?
Well, I love Temple, and it's been so good to me and my family, and I had such a great time with Al, so the chance to come back here, come back to Philly was too good to pass up, and hopefully I can do the job that these kids deserve.
When you talk about Temple football, and some fans out there watching right now may have never been to a Temple game, of course, to play over there at the link. What would you like to tell them about the experience that they would get if you came out to a Temple game?
I think, first of all, we have a really exciting type of football. Our quarterback is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and so if you want to come out and see great football, I have a 9-year-old, and he loves to go to the Eagles. He loves coming here, but on Saturdays he can go out, he can see the Al, he can meet the team, he can watch as we walk in, the pageantry of college football, and do all that and watch great college football. So I would just tell everybody that there's a great thing happening at the link on Saturdays.
Now, you have a Penn State pedigree. That's where you played. You played linebacker at Penn State, and so I'm sure you bring a little bit of the Joe Pa to Temple as well. But really, you're an offensive guy. Like you said, this is an exciting brand of football.
Yeah, we've really modeled ourselves after Coach Kelly down here in Philadelphia. We're fast, no huddle. We're going to throw the ball around, and I want people when they come out to watch us to see an exciting type of football. And we have a bunch of really good players, and we're going to throw it around and try to make things happen. We
should mention that you play at Penn State in the middle of November this year, but you open up a week from Thursday at Vanderbilt. That's the first game for Temple football. But before I let you go, we also have to talk about the T-shirt you're wearing, and you're not just representing Taney baseball because of how it's captivated the nation. You got a little bit of a connection, and he's sitting right next to me. Do you not?
That's it. And I was blessed to watch about 15 or 20 Taney Little League games, 9, 10 years old. And they do such a great job for the kids in the city. And my son's been up to 2 games up there in Williamsport. So we have Taney fever and Monet fever, and we wish them all the best tomorrow night.
Yeah, Bryant to my right here, guys, plays for the one of the 9-year-old teams in Taney Little League. So I can't imagine. We've seen how it's kind of swept across the country. I can't imagine what it's been like to be, up there close and personal with the program itself.
Yeah, we've had a couple 4 a.m. wake-ups with him, but I think it just goes to show all the great young people that are in Philadelphia and all the great things they can do, and Taney's just brought it to the forefront. So.
Well, Matt, we wish Taney baseball the best of luck, and certainly we wish Temple football the best of luck as well. Division I football right here in Philadelphia. If you haven't gotten a chance to see Temple football, come on out. That's coming from a St. Joe's guy, but I'll still say that because it's a lot of fun, Matt. Good luck this year.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. It was a big day for the folks from Taney because Monet Davis was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That is remarkable. It was a beautiful picture, too. They'll play tomorrow night. No balls and 1 strike to Brad Miller. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. There it is. Is that awesome or what, Jimmy?
That is very cool.
It is an incredible story that I think just enhances the game of baseball on the amateur level.
And I look at those mechanics, they're perfect. They really are.
Ground ball right side. Big hop for Chase Utley. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left for the Mariners. So A.J. Burnett has settled in here in the 4th inning. He's found his command. Now the Phillies hope they can find a little offense when we return. Honda. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shophonda.com. Buy Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. It was cloudy earlier tonight, but it's turned out to be a nice night here at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies trail at 2-0. They've been kind of mesmerized by the Mariners right-hander, Hisashi Iwakuma, a 33-year-old from Tokyo, who won 107 games in Japan before he was posted. And that's what happens when a player comes from Japan. They have to be posted, and then a team has the opportunity to bid for them, and the highest bid is the players then awarded to that team, and then they have a certain period of time where they have to come up with a contract with that player. Well, for Iwakuma, when he was posted in 2010, the Oakland A's had the highest bid at $19.1 million, but they couldn't come to an agreement with him. So then he went back to Japan, pitched another year, and after that, as Utley lifts it to left, and Ackley makes the catch on the track. After that, after he didn't come to an agreement with the A's, he pitched for a year in Japan, and then he just became a free agent. He didn't have to be posted again. Then he signed with the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, and when he signed with the Mariners, he didn't come here as damaged goods, but they realized after he signed that he had some shoulder weakness, and they were very concerned about it. And I know firsthand Rick Griffin and his staff. Rick Griffin's the head trainer with the Mariners, took this to heart and really did a great job of getting this kid to understand that he needed some more shoulder strength to be able to be healthy for the grueling season that he'd be facing here at the major league level. And they look back at some history with him before he came from Japan, had a good year, bad year, good year, bad year, and they noticed, differences with the way he was pitching and his health. And they started doing some research on his shoulder healthy or the lack of health, and realized that he had a shoulder weakness. So then they put him on a strength program through spring training. I think he only pitched one game in spring training at the very end, and then remained active. Made their club out of spring training. Didn't pitch the month of April. Got him to the point where he had his health, where they thought it was good enough where he could pitch. And lo and behold, he's become a key part of this Seattle Mariners starting rotation.
Well, he's won 34 games since coming to the Seattle Mariners. You combine that with 171 in Japan, so 141 victories as a professional pitcher. And his winning percentage is second only to Paul Abbott, sandwiched around Abbott and Randy Johnson, and then some guy named Moyer after him. Foul tip, and it's 2-2 to Howard.
Well, it takes a great deal of arm strength, number one, to be a pitcher. I don't care at what level. You have to have some arm strength. But to maintain that arm strength and to pitch at this level on the consistency that you're asking out of your arm is really, really important. And, not only to Rick Griffin and his staff, I mean, all the training staffs in baseball, to keep their guys healthy, it's not an easy task. And to keep guys focused on what they need to do between outings. Your bullpens, guys are getting up and down constantly. There a lot of responsibility goes to the player, but it starts with the training staff.
Ground ball foul by Howard, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, it starts with the training staff, but I guess it does also include the player wanting to do those things to make themselves better.
In some cases, the player has to do it or needs to do it to be able to be consistent on the field and stay healthy and be able to stay on the field.
2-2 to Ryan Howard. And Ryan fouls that one off his front foot.
I touched on this a few weeks ago, about talking about kids and about their arm health and taking care of their arms and teaching kids, younger high school or college, high school, middle school type age kids that, and a lot of parents send their kids to pitching coaches, which I think is great. But the other part of that is, how do we take care of ourselves, or how do we take care of the kids and teach them how to take care of their arms.
Howard lifts it out toward left center field. Ackley on the run out toward the alley. He won't get it. It's off the base of the wall. And Ryan will head to second. It's a one-out double. And the Phillies have their first base runner in scoring position. And it comes here in the fourth.
Ryan saw a good low fastball right here. They kind of ran back over to the inner third of the plate. Just stayed right through it. Drove the ball pretty well right out off the base of the W.B. Mason sign in left center field. For an easy double.
14 doubles for Ryan Howard. He's now 6 for 14, or I should say 6 for 15 lifetime against the Mariners. Marlins struck out his only time up. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Foul ball, 1-1. We take a look at our Mazda leaders, and the Mariners pitchers are averaging the fewest, tied for the fewest pitches per inning. Does it surprise you, Jamie, that nobody's, let's say, 14 something or 13 something?
It is a little surprising, but with the way hitting is being taught nowadays to take pitches, in a way it is surprising, but again, in a way it's not surprising.
See what he's done here tonight. Started with 14 pitches in that first inning. Marlin fouls it at the plate.
Well, and as you mentioned, Tom, too, you know, coming from Japan, they do things a little differently in Japan. And I know in their spring training, they're required to throw, I think it's 1,000 or 2,000 pitches per month.
That sounds like a lot of pitches.
It is. It's an astronomical amount of pitches. But what they also do during their season in the games, as they get to the second out in the inning, the pitcher comes out in front of the dugout and plays catch to stay loose. And a lot of their bullpens are back in behind the clubhouse. They're not out on the field. So they have a camera so they can watch a TV monitor in the bullpen so they can watch the game indoors. And the home team can watch, their manager can watch their guy warm up in behind the clubhouse.
I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah. I played on an all-star team that went over there, and there were no mounds on the field anywhere, no bullpens.
Another foul ball, and it remains 2-2. Well, I guess that's what they're used to, but I would think that's kind of strange.
Well, the lifespan, if you will, for a professional pitcher.
Oh, something's wrong here. You know, he's been stretching a lot, Jamie. I don't know if you've noticed it. I mean, he's been stretching his arm a lot. He's been lifting it up. He's been moving it back and forth a little bit. And without seeing him before today live, just thought it was something that he does. Yeah, right there, you see how he's stretching out. I thought he was trying to stretch out his undershirt, but he was stretching out his pitching arm. So Lloyd McClendon asked Kerwin Danley. They went out together. Oh, so this is going to count as a trip to the mound.
Yeah, it looked like Lloyd was mostly talking to the infielders.
Huh. I mean, he came up the stairs quickly after that last pitch. So that is a trip. It's not a visit to the mound to check and see if he's okay. Maybe it was part of it, but then he did a little strategy afterward. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Marlon Byrd. Phillies down 2-0. The Mariners scored 2 in the first. Lloyd McClendon in his first year back as a major league manager. He once managed the Pittsburgh Pirates. A lot of folks thought he would get the Tigers job when Jim Leyland retired.
Well, another thing that the Japanese players use a lot are magnets. You know, these little patches that have magnets in them, and they stick them on their arms. And I'm not exactly sure how to explain why they do that or how they do that or what it's exactly for, but it seems to work for them.
5 strikeouts for Iwakuma. Is that in between starts that they do that?
And I've seen guys pitch with them as well.
Have to do a little research on that, see what the magnets do.
Do a lot of acupuncture as well.
I don't. Are you asking me if I do?
No, they do.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That makes sense that they would do that. Dominic Brown grounded out his first time up.
Big believers in massage.
Who is it? There's a split, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
You see with the man in scoring position, all of a sudden his pitching style changed. He went to a lot of sliders and a lot of splits there with Marlon Byrd. And their first pitch right there to Dominic was a split. He has a great ability to keep his fastball down, though.
Ball and 2 strikes to Brown. Folks are probably wondering, as has been the case over the last couple weeks, why Darren Ruff's not playing tonight. After going 2 for 3 in last night's ball game, he's hit in 4 straight. He's 7 for his last 12. And Ryan Sandberg said it was strictly about the numbers and the fact that Iwakuma handles right-handed batters much better than some other right-handed pitchers. He's just really tough against right-handed batters. So that's why he wanted to go with the left-hander. And Dominic Brown against him. In the dirt. And it's 2-2. Right-handers are hitting just 196 against Iwakuma. And part of that's the slider. And part of it's the split.
Well, overall, though, hitters are only hitting 236 against him. So, and he's very stingy with the walks. As you mentioned, Tommy, at 12 coming into tonight's game, has not walked a batter tonight.
The 12 walks, that's like Cliff Lee when he was going through that run where he wasn't walking anybody a year ago or 2 years ago. Outside, 3-2 to Dominic Brown. Outside with a fastball. Carlos Ruiz waits on deck. And he got him. Strikeout number 6 for Iwakuma. Phillies leave one in scoring position. We've played 4 innings here in Philadelphia. On to the 5th. Mariners on top, 2-0. Mason delivers Duracell batteries the same day. Order by 11:30 and get the reliable power and performance of Duracell delivered to your office that afternoon. WB Mason has Duracell, trusted everywhere. Top of the 5th inning, Mariners scored 2 in the first. And A.J. Burnett has allowed a couple hits since that time. And he's only allowed 1 base runner to get into scoring position since that first inning. He begins the 5th by facing Iwakuma, who is 0 for 1. He grounded out to second his only time up. Iwakuma did bat when he was in Japan. He did not get a hit when he batted in Japan. He does not have a hit on the big league level. And now the 0-2 pitch from AJ. Late swing. And it remains no balls and 2 strikes. Tim Felix having a little fun at the dugout. He won't pitch in this series. Mariners are just happy that he's going to pitch, because he exited his last start against the Tigers a little early. No balls, 2 strikes as we begin the top of the 5th inning. And a breaking ball in there for a called strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Burnett. And that'll bring Austin Jackson to the plate. All right, Jamie, it's time now for our Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. Who has the second most silver sluggers all time by a second baseman behind Ryan Sandberg?
Second baseman. Getting hints?
I think if I gave you a hint, you're going to get it. So I will tell you that at this point, the second baseman with the second most silver sluggers is younger than Ryan Sandberg was. As that ball is lined toward the gap in left center field, and Austin Jackson, he can run. Dominic Brown picks it up and gets it in before Jackson thinks about 3. So that's his 28th double of the year.
I feel like I should know this.
I would think if you don't get it and I give you the answer, you're going to say, I knew that.
Go ahead. Give me the answer.
Well, he's due up after Dustin Ackley. Robinson Cano.
Should have known.
5 silver sluggers. Sandberg with 7. I thought you'd get that one.
Yeah, I was thinking National League at first.
Well, if I had said he's in the game tonight, would that have led you to Utley, or would that have led you to Cano? Without knowing what Chase has done. First pitch is inside as Ackley showed bunt.
I may have gone to Chase first.
Pretty good chance that Robinson Cano passes Ryan Sandberg. Now the home run total being down and playing at a bigger ballpark is probably going to hamper him from year to year. 2 balls and no strikes. But the fact that he hits for average and hits a lot of doubles kind of offsets the power numbers to a certain extent. See how careful AJ is here with Ackley up, and the count 3 balls and no strikes. Kid's got some pop. And he was taken all the way, and he takes strike 1. It's 3-1. to the right side. And Jackson moves over to third, but the Phillies get the out as Chase Utley throws out Ackley. And there are 2 outs for Robinson Cano. Purchase tickets for this Friday night using your MasterCard for a special buy one, get one free ticket offer, while also helping to support Stand Up to Cancer. See Phillies.com/MasterCard for more details and to purchase. I mentioned this the other day that Stand Up to Cancer was formed in May of 2008. And funds that have been pledged over the years since its inception have amassed more than $260 million. Cano is 0 for 2 with an RBI. Now, you mentioned last night he was aggressive against Jerome Williams. I would think he just took that pitch inside, but RBI situation, 2 outs. You may see him be a little aggressive here, and A.J. Burnett knows that.
Well, he's probably trying to hunt the fastball, I got to believe. But now that he's missed that fastball right there, he may have now switched and he may sit on a curveball.
Good curveball right there.
It's a real good curveball.
1 ball and 1 strike. Toyota Major League Scoreboard, an update from Washington, where the Nationals, who have won 7 straight, have jumped out to a 6-1 lead over Arizona. Jordan Zimmerman on the mound for the Nationals. Braves are leading their ball game. Again, the Nationals lead the East by 6 games over the Atlanta Braves. Burnett's going to get out of this one as long as Utley can make this play. Cano doesn't always run all that hard, so he did have time. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. Middle of the 5th. Mariners still nursing the 2 runs they got in the first. Citizens Bank Park, but it's also Star Wars night. Star Wars characters, music, movie clips, and more will be prevalent throughout the ballpark. Join in on the fun and come dressed as your favorite Star Wars character. Well, last night, little bit of a foreshadowing of what you might see on Friday. The Fanatic with some of his stormtrooper friends. Darth Vader, of course, getting the nod to come in first. The Bull is a big fan of the movies, the Star Wars movies. Go to Phillies.com/theme nights for more info and to order tickets. Carlos Ruiz will lead it off for the Phils. They trail at 2-0. And he takes inside 1-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Carlos singled to right his first time up. One of 3 hits for the Phillies tonight. On the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, he does have a good slider.
It's very tight. It's very sharp.
and then comes back with a fastball. His fastball will top off at 90 miles an hour. That one there was at 89.
Well, it looks like he throws two types of fastballs. He throws a straight fastball, probably a four-seam fastball, and like that one there, that had a little tail to it.
1-2 pitch to Ruiz. And Carlos struck out, ball in the dirt. 2-3 on the putout, so 3 straight strikeouts for Iwakuma. And he now has 7 strikeouts here tonight.
And there he throws a really good split to strike out Carlos Ruiz. And Tom, that's what you're talking about, where he's so tough on the right-handed hitter. And the bottom just dropped out of that split-fingered fastball.
Season high is 10 strikeouts. Career high is 13. There's a bloop by Ashe over the head of the third baseman. It rolls into foul territory. Ashe will stop it first. Well, Cody will take that one. He's hit it 3 straight. It's the second hit of this series. And A.J. Burnett will be the batter. Perfect placement by Cody Ashe.
He gets a slider and just kind of flips it down the left field line.
Pitchers were working on their bunting practice today with Pete Mackanin, Phillies third base coach. Seager creeps in. AJ squares. Takes strike one. It's 0-1. Kyle Kendrick was talking about that today. He was bunting one after another down, and he said, I can do it all day in the cage. It's not moving the way it's moving during a game.
That's why it's important to get yourself in a good bunting position. Starting your bat at the top of the zone, and when the ball's below your bat, use your legs to go down to get that ball.
He offered it that. It's 0-2.
That's got to be a tough pitch to bunt right there, that split.
I would think this guy just generally is a tough guy to bunt at it because there is a lot of movement in all of his pitches. He's just not going to lay it in there for you. Oh, 2 pitch. Low, ball 1. And he bunts it in the air, and it's a strikeout. 8 strikeouts for Iwakuma. Again, we mentioned his season high is 10, and his career high is 13. Yeah, that'll bring Ben Revere to the plate. The Phillies just haven't been able to muster much offensively against Iwakuma. He's allowed just 4 hits, but when they've gotten a base runner with 1 out, they haven't even been able to move that base runner over to the next base. Ben is 0 for 2. He struck out his first time up. Inside, 1-0.
Well, and here I think in interleague play when you're facing teams that you very rarely see or pitchers that you've never seen, it makes it very difficult on an offense. And a guy like Kuma, who's got a very good split and a very good slider tonight, and locating his fastball is really making it tough on the Phillies.
Yeah, his splits ball strike ratio, and you see 68 pitches, but he's at 51 strikes, 17 balls. He's got 8 strikeouts, and the other 6 outs are 4 ground outs and 2 fly balls. And one of the fly balls was to the shortstop in foul territory. 2-0 pitch. Softly to the right side. Morrison waits, hesitates, now tags Revere. The Phillies leave another one here in the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We've played 5 here at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies still trail at 2-0. Kyle Seager will lead it off when we come back. Is taking big steps up the ladder of the National League batting average leaders. Coming into the homestand, Revere has acquired 5 4-hit games this season, the most in the majors, and tying the most for the Phillies in over 30 years. Since the last week of June, the man at the top of the lineup has batted well above .350. Night after night, Ben continues to set the table. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. So far tonight, Ben Revere is 0 for 3. The Phillies have managed 4 hits but no runs as we go to the top of the 6th inning. The Mariners, 3rd place in the American League West, but 10 games over 500 at 67 and 57. It's turned out to be a tremendous American League West. Kyle Seager will lead things off for Seattle. Seager is 0 for 2. Inside, and it's 1-0. Season ended today. Then the 2 other teams in the American League West would be in the postseason in the wild card. The A's are 73 and 51, and Seattle is 67 and 57. Actually, I should correct that. They are a percentage point behind the Tigers at 66 and 56. So the Tigers have a percentage point lead, but that'll obviously even out or take care of itself because they've played less games. Off the inside corner, 3-0 to Kyle Seager. But it's been a great story. The fact that the Mariners are even in contention right now for a postseason bid. High fly ball deep to right field. Forget about that one. Just under the second deck. Home run number 19 for Seager. It's 3-0 Seattle. Oh, a pitch that was up, and Seager did not miss it.
You're right, Tom. There's a fastball. Chooch was looking for that ball down and away. It's out over the plate. Seager gets the head of the bat out. 3-0 count. He's looking for a fastball, and that's the kind of swing you're supposed to take on a 3-0 count. Drove it out of the ballpark to right field.
Excellent catch by the youngster out in the stands. There's Logan Morrison, and Morrison takes a strike. It's 0-1. Morrison's 1 for 2. He singled home run his first time up. That's a big time power by Seager. To the right side, Utley slides, gets to his feet. 1 out. So one away. Andy Chavez is the batter. Well, Murph, a guy like Kyle Seager is exactly what the Mariners tried to do several years ago to enhance their team.
Yeah, you know, you look at their 25-man roster, Tom, and you say to yourself, well, how is a team that seems to be building from a very young core group of talent, how are they doing it? And if you take a look and you break down their 25-man roster, you can see that a lot of it has come from in-house. In fact, via the draft, you take a look, 8 players via the draft, 6 players coming from trade, and 11 from free agency. But if you just take a look at the starting 9 tonight, how about 5 of those coming from the draft, including most of their infield? Robinson Cano, of course, the second baseman, he came over as a free agent, as did their pitcher, Iwakuma. But other than that, these guys are developed in-house, and that's the way the Mariners have tried to do it. It takes some time, but in a lot of ways, if you stop and think about the Phillies teams back in 07, 08, 09, the teams that were winning division titles and winning National League pennants, it's built in a very similar kind of way, with good young talent coming through their farm system and then adding a piece here and a piece there and adding a lot of arms via trade or free agency in order to win. And that's what the Mariners are trying to do right now.
Well, Jack Zaresnick, who is their general manager, has brought a lot of these players through the system since he moved over from the Milwaukee Brewers. One of his scouts, Joe McIlvain, is also in attendance tonight, sitting behind home plate. He's a special assistant, actually, to Jack Zaresnick.
You know, Tommy, we should point out that, and you've talked about it, we talked about it a little bit last night, that, some of these young guys that are making an impact right now for the Seattle Mariners, they're top picks, guys that were picked in the, first round of in the Major League Baseball draft, or, maybe as low as the 3rd round. But these are guys that were projected to be big league players when they're coming out of college, and most of them also did play in college. So they've kind of identified the kind of player that they want, and they've been able to go out and get them with some higher picks that they had, and now they're definitely seeing the fruits of their labor.
Well, the guy that just got hit by a pitch was the 3rd overall pick in 2012. Well, that'll bring Brad Miller to the plate. Miller's 0 for 1. He walked his first time up, grounded out his last time. Outside corner, 0-1. Changeup from A.J. Burnett.
Back-to-back changeups, both of which ran off the plate.
Outside, 2-1. That was a curveball that just didn't curve. AJ has scattered 5 hits through 6 innings so far, or into the 6th inning. He walked 3 in the first 2 innings of this ball game. Just hit a batter. And he's behind 2 balls and 1 strike to Brad Miller. On the outside corner again. That's the 3rd changeup of this at bat. Although that may have been a curveball since it was at 80 miles an hour.
I believe that was a curveball. Staying soft here on Miller. Wouldn't be surprised to see him throw that off the body sinker right here.
Stayed soft, yeah. Runner goes, pitches on the outside corner, and a call, strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Burnett, but the Mariners have padded their lead with a solo home run by Kyle Seager. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off. For the ride of your life and save big today. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy rights. Oh, it's a nice night for some ice cream.
Sure is, Tom. It's always good at night for ice cream.
I would expect that you would say that. Wide selection of Turkey Hill ice cream today in the lunchroom. What'd you go with?
What did I go with? What's it, Grand Slam?
Graham Slam?
Yeah, Graham Slam.
All right. If you go out and buy a couple cartons of that, it can help contribute some money to the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs.
Nice.
Bottom of the 6th inning, the Phillies hope they can contribute a little offense here tonight. They trail at 3-0. Jimmy Rollins 1 for 2. Singled his first time up. That one's out towards center. Playable for Austin Jackson. 1 pitch and 1 away here in the 6th. And Chase Utley will be the hitter. He's 0 for 2. Phillies have played better here at Citizens Bank Park over the last dozen games, 8-4. Over the last 12. Still under the 500 mark, of course, in Philadelphia. Only down by 3. But Iwakuma has 1 out in the 6th. He's only thrown 70 pitches.
He's been very efficient tonight in using all of his pitches, using his curveball the least amount, but still using all of his pitches. And actually the most pitches he's thrown to anybody was AJ in his first at bat in the top of the 3rd or bottom of the 3rd inning.
Well, the breakdown, 18 balls, 54 strikes. One ball, 1 strike. And 1-2, a foul tip.
He's got 3 1-pitch at bats and 4 2-pitch at bats.
Including the at-bat by Jimmy Rollins to start this inning. Oh, man, a collision with Logan Morrison. They call him out. I don't know about that. Juan Samuel says something to Ron Culpa. Ryan Sandberg's going to come out. Yeah, he may have been out. He may have stayed on the bag long enough and then or applied the tag. Oh, yeah, he's out. Okay. I thought his arm went around Chase. Yeah, right there he tags him. Boy, both players came down hard on their legs, and they're fortunate, both of them, that they did not get injured on that play. 2 outs, and Ryan Howard will be the batter. That was not an easy play by Morrison. He may have, I don't know if he kept his foot on the bag or not, but he obviously tagged him. Ryan Howard will be the hitter. He's 1 for 2. Down the left field line, out of play, 0-1. To the right side, Seager, the third baseman, is playing over there. 5-3 on the putout, a 1-2-3 6th inning. That's a pretty quick inning, too, for Iwakuma. Chase Utley looks like he's okay. He'll go back to second for the 7th. Time now for your local Honda dealers game summary. The Mariners lead the Phillies 3-0. They scored 2 runs in the first inning after A.J. Burnett threw 8 straight pitches out of the strike zone to start the inning. Ryan Howard has an extra base hit for the Phils, but that's the only one. It was a double to left center field. Burnett hasn't been awful tonight. 3 walks, 1 hit batter over 6 innings of work. But Iwakuma has just been better. A little bit of a delay right now. I think there's an issue with the second base bag. Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins signaling to somebody. Yeah, looks like it's a little wobbly, Jamie.
Well, I'm sure there's a remedy to that.
Oh, well, they fixed the bag. We'll introduce you to tonight's Citizen 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal. And that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship. All right, so they've got to take the base out. And they may have to replace that base. They're bringing a new one out. That electric tape will, or that duct tape will only hold it, Jamie, for a certain period of time. Plenty of bases to go around. So we go to the top of the 7th inning, and Iwakuma will lead it off. He is hitless in 2 at-bats. 1 the count. Pitch number 90 for A.J. Burnett. Well, the marriage between Iwakuma and the Mariners is less than 3 years old, but it's been a good one. If tonight is any indication how good of a pitcher he is, particularly for a team that hasn't seen him before. He has been in total command of this game, and that's the reason why he's batting here in the top of the 7th inning, because he's going to stay in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, an update from down in Miami. Marcell Ozuna has hit another home run, and Rangers and the Marlins tied at 1. Out of play.
Well, and it's interesting how the Mariners have their rotation set up. They don't have Kuma and King Felix back to back. And I'm sure there's a reason for that. Again, we don't see these guys enough, but King Felix is he doesn't necessarily throw a split. He's great breaking stuff, and he's got a very live fastball, an explosive fastball. So I'm sure there's reason behind that.
7 strikeouts now for A.J. Burnett. Fans follow every Phillies game with MLB.com at-bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Visit Phillies.com today.
And part of that, too, is they probably are breaking up the left-handed starters they have in their rotation as well.
What did you think about the kid last night that pitched for the Mariners?
He wasn't real sharp. He wasn't, they've been toying, and they're trying to control some of his innings. I think there's a little concern there, and they want him to get through the season healthy and be able to compete if they potentially get to the playoffs. He located his fastball at times pretty well, but struggled at times with his breaking ball, and had a high pitch count. But I think there's a lot of potential there.
1 ball and 1 strike to Austin Jackson, who is 1 for 2.
And again, as we see pretty much across the board, Tom, with go ahead, with a lot of these younger pitchers, organizations across the board are trying to dictate innings, and they only, they're the ones that know what's going on with their pitchers. So as the Mariners here last night, Elias, as you see a breaking ball there, a couple errant curveballs that he threw.
He was a little wild.
But they're trying to get him to get through the season, and obviously this is the most he's pitched in his life, and they want him to get through it healthy and contribute not only for this year, but they also see him being a pitcher in their rotation for many years to come.
1 ball and no strikes to Dustin Ackley, who's 1 for 2, and that's 1 ball and 1 strike. Murph, if not for the fence and the fact it was 5 feet south of you, would you have had that?
Oh, would I have had that, Tom?
Yeah.
Well, it was a little
south of you.
Little south, but it's coming in kind of hot. I might have ducked.
And a called strike 3. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. 8 strikeouts for Burnett, and he has his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Time to stretch here in Philadelphia. The Phillies down 3-0 to the Mariners. Offense has been kind of light tonight. Just 4 hits, 1 extra base hit, the double by Ryan Howard. Time now, as we promised earlier in the game, for our AT&T fan photo of the game. This one comes from B. Helmendaler. A group night at the Phils. Bring your group to the night, and you can load up on. Boy, that does look pretty good right there. Cheese steak with some onions, red peppers. That's out at Campos, which is out at Ashburn Alley here at Citizens Bank Plaza. Marlon Byrd grounds one foul, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Well, Mario Hollins has started to warm up in the bullpen for the Phils. A.J. Burnett's night might be done after 7 innings. He allowed just 3 runs, but unfortunately for him, the offense hasn't managed anything against Iwakuma, who's been stellar. 0-2. Did he go? No. This is Ron Culpa. I think as this outing's gone on, he's thrown fewer balls out of the strike zone. He's only thrown 19 balls tonight.
Well, he's got a great ability to make his pitches. Well, a lot of, as you said, Tom, a lot of his pitches are in the zone, but the ones that aren't in the zone look like they're in the zone until they get to the plate.
Well, there's a breaking ball that gets Bird, and he has struck out 3 times tonight. So 9 strikeouts for you, Akuma. That'll bring Dominic Brown to the plate. Murph, I saw Larry Bowa, a former coach of the Mariners, being interviewed earlier today by one of the Mariners broadcasters. But he also not only has a tie to the Mariners, he has tie to the Mariners second baseman, too.
He does with Robinson Cano. You'll remember back in 2006 and 2007, Larry Bowa was on the Yankee staff, their third base coach, and that was a young Robinson Cano at that time, was kind of working his way through. He certainly had the offensive game back then, but he was trying to work his way through the defensive side of it. And Larry Bowa kind of took him under his wing and made him go out at spring training in Tampa and work on his defensive game. And Larry would go out there every day early in the morning and help Robinson with his game. Well, we know where Robinson Cano is today, and he hasn't forgotten what Larry Bowa has done for him. When Larry got to the game yesterday and the Mariners first arrived here, he got to his locker, and sitting in front of his locker was a gift from Robinson Cano, a Rolex watch, and a little note that said, "Thanks for all you did to help me make the player that he is today." And Larry told us that story yesterday. He wanted to make sure that we kind of told that story on there to show folks what kind of guy Robinson Cano is. He said in 45 years of baseball, no one's ever done anything like that for him before, and he really appreciated it. A pretty class act by Robinson Cano.
That is as classy as it comes. Larry Bowa is an excellent infield coach. Always has been, and for as long as he's around this game, he always will be. Cody Ashley talks about that, just how much he's worked with Bo on his defense at third base.
And let's remember, Robinson Cano has won 2 Gold Gloves since that time. So, all that hard work certainly paid off for Cano, but he attributes a lot of that. Certainly he had the talent, but he attributes a lot of the hard work that he got to Larry Bowa.
Boy, that had to be startling for Bo to see that in his locker. There's a bloop to center. Here comes Jackson. And the side is retired in order. 8 in a row retired by Iwakuma. We have played 7 innings here in Philadelphia. Mariners 3, the Phillies nothing. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Well, the Fanatics in the Majestic Clubhouse store in search of a cap, I guess. Top of the 8th inning. And Robinson Cano will lead things off for the Mariners. Some of the ladies who were part of today's Baseball 101 here at Citizens Bank Park were dancing on the dugout with the Fanatic in between innings. It's the second of 3 Baseball 101s that are taking place here at Citizens Bank Park. Robinson Cano is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and struck out. 1 ball and no strikes. His ground out in the first was one of 2 RBIs for the Mariners in that inning. And that got the foot of Cano. It's the second batter that AJ's hit tonight.
Here's a curveball that he for sure knew he was going to bury down and in, and he buried it down and in on Robinson Cano's front foot. It looks like just off the outside of his foot. That's gotta hurt. Not a whole lot of padding. There's actually no padding there.
Well, 12 batters that AJ Burnett has hit this year, counting the 2 tonight. Here's Seager, who's 1 for 3. He homered his last time up to extend the Mariners' lead to 3. Fastball on the inside corner. Here's the home run.
There's a fastball pretty much outer third of the plate, elevated. Seager just nice easy swing on that ball. Lets AJ supply the power and gets a barrel of the bat out in front and pulls that ball to right field for a solo home run.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Runner goes. Pitch is taken inside. The throw by Ruiz on one hop goes off the glove of Rollins. And Cano has his 10th stolen base of the year. Well, that's the 4th stolen base tonight for the Mariners. Every time the Phillies retire the opposition 1-2-3, which AJ did in the 7th inning, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. One ball and 2 strikes. Out of play off to our left, and it remains 1-2. Justin DeFreitas has joined Mario Hollins in the bullpen. Pulled foul. Much of the Mariners are just a hair behind the Detroit Tigers for the wild card. They still have games against the A's and the Angels as the season winds down. They still play the A's 6 more times. They play the Angels 7 more times, including the final 3 games of the regular season. Angels and the Mariners will play each other up at Safeco. Swing and a miss. 9 strikeouts for Burnett. And it's the 3rd time that he's gotten Kyle Seager. Phillies Charities Auction, official game used jerseys from the 2014 season. Hamels, Rollins, Utley, and many more. Each jersey is autographed and comes with an official 75th anniversary Lou Gehrig speech patch. Look for Phillies Auction on the homepage at Phillies.com. Net proceeds benefit Phillies charities. The auction ends Sunday, the 24th. There's some really nice items just looking at it today that you can bid on. Just saw some of the jerseys that were laid out there. 1 ball and no strikes to Logan Morrison. We can get through Morrison here. Endy Chavez is the on deck hitter, and he's not wasting any time swinging at some pitches. Look at Morrison's reaction to that pitch. He kind of just threw his head back.
Well,
Two seamer that came back in.
Yeah, he had a pitch on previous at bat like that called on him, and it almost looked like he wasn't convinced that was a strike either. So I'm thinking he's probably going again.
It is funny sometimes when you see players' reactions to certain things. Three and one curveball that didn't get over the outside part of the plate. There is Endy in the on deck circle. At ball 4, so Morrison walks. So he's hit 2, he's walked 4. And let's see what Ryan Sandberg does here. Bob McClure and Sandberg are chatting. Bob's going to go to the phone and see who's ready and see if Hollins is ready more than anything with Chavez coming up. You can actually hear the phone ring out there with our crowd mics that are all over the place.
It's almost as if we're out there. The pop of the glove, the phone ringing.
So now Chavez, who's 0 for 3, he's grounded out and he's flat out twice. Once to left, once to right.
We're just missing the adrenaline that's going on out there.
Outside, 1-0. AJ takes a breather. AJ's been durable during his career. He does look like he's a little fatigued right now with these last couple of hitters, or at least 2 of the last 3 hitters. On the inside corner, 2-1. Good spot right there.
The ball had some nice run right off of Endy's right hip and ran back over the plate.
He's about to throw his 120th pitch of the night. Depending on what happens, it could be his last. to first base. Howard has it for a moment. He's going to have one play, and that's to the first base bag. The runners move up to second and third. If he had fielded it cleanly, there was a chance he could have gotten two, but Chavez still runs fairly well. But once he bobbled it, there was no way he could do anything but take it to the first base bag.
Two hopper. It looks like it just came up off of the heel of his glove. He had that meat hand right on top of it. Looked like the ball just came up and ate him up a little bit on the palm of his hand.
All right, but Burnett can still get out of this here by getting Zunino. He singled his second time up back in the fourth, hit by a pitch his last time. Breaking ball, 0-1.
This kid looks like he's going to be a promising hitter for the Mariners. 18 home runs. In the catching position, it's pretty impressive.
His average is at 207, but certainly the power numbers there. Outside, it's 1-1. Those 18 home runs are among the leaders in that category for a catcher. He's tied for second in Major League Baseball with the 18.
And I think the Mariners are very pleased with how he handles their pitching staff as well. Good catch and throw guy, good game calling guy. Those guys are hard to come by.
Well, the Mariners' record for home runs by a catcher is 19 by Miguel Oliva. Two balls, one strike. And he taps it at the plate, 2-2. Toward the hole, a base hit to left field. One run will score. Rounding third, heading for home is Morrison. The throw by Dominic Brown cut off. It's a two-run single, so it's 5-0 Mariners on top here in the eighth inning. RBIs 46 and 47 for Zunino. And here comes Ryan Sandberg. He's going to take A.J. Burnett out of this ball game. He's trying to get him through the eighth inning. But after hitting the first batter, walking the third hitter, he got a ground out and then a base hit through the hole on the left side. So that's it for A.J. Burnett. Brad Miller's coming up and Mario Hollins is coming out. play of the game. And for this one, we look to Ben Revere at the plate. This was a nice play.
Yeah, Ben Revere hit a ball, one of his typical ground balls up the middle, and Brad Miller gets over there rather quickly and shows a very strong arm to first base to throw out Ben Revere. And that is our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
All right, Jamie, so now what was a 3-0 lead is now a 5-0 lead. Ryan Sandberg was trying to get A.J. Burnett through 8 innings and give the offense a chance to do something in the bottom of the 8th inning, but A.J. just gave up a 2-run single. And Mario Hollins will come on. Hollins will try to get the last out here in the top of the 8th inning. Mario 2-1, an ERA of 4.23. Mike Zunino is over at first base. He provided the 2-run base hit. To the right side, Chase Utley charges. So Mario Hollins throws one pitch, and the top of the 8th inning comes to a close, the 2-run score. Charge to the line of A.J. Burnett, middle of the 8th inning here in Philadelphia. Popular item each and every year, and here's the new one. It's the Cabrini College knit hat. It's free to fans 15 and older. You can order tickets for that ball game by going to Phillies.com. It's always been a popular item. It doesn't matter what kind of hat the Phillies are giving out. The folks at Cabrini College have been great sponsors of the Phillies, particularly for that item. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cody Ashley will lead it off for the Phils. Iwakuma sat for a while, but he's got a 5-run lead to work with. He's only thrown now 85 pitches. No balls and 1 strike to Ashe. Ground ball to second. Cano to his right. Breakdown by inning. Well, we talked about his pitch count. He threw 23 in the 4th inning. But as we said before, he's thrown fewer pitches as the game has gone on.
Yeah, he's gotten stronger. And, when you're getting quick outs and you're hitting your spots, you're getting guys, awkward swings out on their front foot, pop-ups, ground balls. It just allows you to create some momentum and allows you to continue the tempo that you've created.
Grady Sizemore pinch hits here, and the first pitch is at the knees. It's 0-1. Sizemore, 297 hitter. Honestly, I thought the same thing that the fan just said, based on a couple pitches earlier in the game. 0-2.
Well, he's been down there all night, and I thought earlier in the game he called some pitches that were borderline down, but he showed he's going to make those pitches, and he needs to be down in that part of the zone.
And now the 0-2 pitch coming to Sizemore. Fouls it away. Brady with 30 hits in a Phil's uniform. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 11. And there are 2 outs. Well, Ben Revere is due up, and he is the subject of our Geico quote of the day. I'm vying for the batting title. Honestly, I don't pay much attention. As long as I can help the team win, that's the main thing. If you start thinking about it, that is when you will start struggling. People have brought it up to me, but I'm taking it one game at a time. And he is at 313, tied with Yasiel Puig for the second spot in the National League. Justin Morneau leading the way. Morneau's been up 1 time so far for the Rockies in their ball game. That's been nice to see. Unfortunately for Ben, he's been getting on an awful lot. Tied for 4th in hits in the league, but he still has only scored 54 runs. A lot of that has to do with the Phillies just not scoring a whole lot of runs once he gets on base. 2 balls and no strikes.
And that's kind of a little bit of what the story's been throughout the spurts of the season, where they've gotten guys on, they just have struggled at times getting guys in. And teams do go through that during the course of the year, but I think it's come up to bite the Phillies a little bit more than usual.
Yes, this game isn't over by any stretch, but if it stays the way it is, this would be the 66th game this year where the Phillies have scored 3 runs or less. And that's a lot of ball games where your offense is kind of sputtered. 2-1 pitch and a liner foul. It's 2-2. Tonight it's been across the board. Rollins has one of the 4 hits. Ruiz has one of the 4 hits, but only 1 extra base hit here tonight. And low ball 3-2. Iwakuma has struck out 11. He's gotten a few guys a couple times. Dominic Brown, he's gotten a couple times. Marlon Byrd, he's gotten 3 times. To the right side, Logan Morrison has it, and he's going to take it to the bag, and he just barely beats Revere to the bag. Another 1-2-3 inning for Iwakuma. He's had 3 straight 1-2-3 innings. Well, he's closing strong. He's retired 11 in a row. the game. It's been kind of a methodical offensive night for the Mariners.
Yeah, Logan Morrison right there gets a base hit to drive in. One of the early runs here in the 6th is Sager with a big home run. And then to put the Mariners, give the Mariners a big lead, and then Mike Zunino right here with men on second and third drives in 2 more to put the Mariners up 5-0. And those are our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
Yeah, and Iwakuma is getting congratulated in the dugout because he's done after 8 innings and 11 strikeouts, which is a season high. He didn't walk anybody. He doesn't walk anybody anyway, but he didn't walk anybody. So he's done. And Chris Denorfia will be the pinch hitter for the Mariners with Cesar Jimenez coming in as the new relief pitcher. 96 pitches for Iwakuma, and of those 96, 74 strikes. Boy, that's a ratio to remember right there.
Yeah, well, he had from pitch 1, he had total control of this game and commanded the zone early and just got better and better and better as the game went along.
Denorfia takes a strike. It's 0-1. Denorfia 8 for 32 since being acquired by the Mariners. Those are his numbers overall as a pinch hitter, counting his time with the Padres. 1 ball and 1 strike. We're in the top of the 9th inning, 5-0 Seattle. They scored 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 6th, and 2 in the 8th. Down the right field line, that'll slice out of play. And it's 1-2. Well, we've watched him on television. This is the first time I've had a chance to see him in person. Have you ever seen him in person?
I have not. It's my first opportunity as well.
He was impressive. Check swing. No appeal, no swing, says Ron Culpa. I mean, for a guy that, he's not overpowering by any stretch, but he still had 11 strikeouts. He pitched himself to 11 strikeouts.
Well, as I said earlier, Tom, he threw a lot of strikes, but the balls that were not strikes looked like strikes as they're approaching the plate, and it forced a lot of awkward swings, off-balance swings, and the Phillies, the Phillies were not able to get a good part of the bat to the base.
Right. There's a strikeout of Denorfia. 1 man down, top of the order. It's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy University. And get this, guys. It was 63 years ago today when 3'7" Eddie Goodell stepped to the plate for the St. Louis Browns against the Detroit Tigers and drew a walk. And he was promptly replaced by a pinch runner and then retired right after that and left with a on-base percentage of 1,000 in his career. 3'7", you remember that 63 years ago. And also, we told you last night that Nate Scherholtz had joined the Washington Nationals. Well, now we know why. Nate McLeod having surgery on a torn labrum. He is out for the season, so Scherholtz is down in the minor league system for the Nationals, but probably won't be there for very long, as he would be some added depth for them on their bench, which they will need as they head towards the postseason. So McLeod out for the season, guys.
That's a pretty good pickup for them.
Yeah.
The Nationals are on their way to their 8th consecutive win here tonight, and they figure if they stay healthy, those 3 normal guys, Kennard Span, Jason Worth, and Bryce Harper, they're going to play every day. But you get a boost from a guy like Scherholtz, like McLeod, a left-handed bat off the bench. 2-1 pitch. The other thing is, whether this matters or not, he's best friends with Kevin Franzen. So
they got that going.
They got that going for them.
Which is nice.
2-2 to Austin Jackson. Outside, 3-2. It's funny, Murph's talking about Eddie Gaedel. You look at Eddie Gaedel's baseball reference page, it says Major League debut August 19th, 1951. Last MLB appearance August 19th, 1951.
But yet we're still talking about him.
But yet we're still talking about him. Which is what Bill Veeck wanted everybody to do that year. And I don't know if he ever envisioned that people would be doing it even today. Three balls and 2 strikes to Jackson. Another foul ball. Austin Jackson was acquired from the Detroit Tigers in the David Price deal. It was a three-team deal. Nick Franklin went to the Rays with Drew Smiley. Price goes to the Tigers. And Jackson, who has struck out, back-to-back strikeouts for Jimenez, finds his way to Seattle. And now with 2 outs, Dustin Ackley will be the hitter. He's 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored tonight.
Well, you look at the role that Jimenez has played here for the Phillies. He's actually throwing the ball very well for the Phillies. Real good command. Command of a secondary pitch would be his changeup. Throw a breaking ball.
He's got enough life in his fastball because of the command of those other 2 pitches.
He adds and subtracts quite well.
1 ball and 1 strike. Deceptive slider up in the zone to get to Dustin Ackley. Phillies 9th inning. It'll be Rollins, Utley, and Howard. The Phillies down 5-0 right now. The 2-2 pitch outside, 3-2. Robinson Cano on deck. Little day baseball tomorrow. James Paxton against Cole Hamels. 2 left-handers going at it for the off day on Thursday. Tickets are still available for tomorrow's day game, and the Modell Sporting Goods Kids Run the Bases coming up after the game. Check swing. Did he go? No. This is the third base umpire, Lance Parksdale. So a 2-out walk. It's a veteran crew with Kerwin Danley behind the plate, Ron Culpa at first, and Barksdale at third. He was trying to get out of the way, Jamie, but did he go? Whew. Wow, he could have easily run him up. I know a lot of it's intent. But whether he intended to swing or not, it looked like he may have gone around. Cano was hit by a pitch his last time up and scored. And he pulls that one through the hole on the right side, a base hit. Ackley will stop at second. And Cano is at first. After the game, stick around for Phillies post-game live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Batalico is around to break down this matchup between the Phils and the Mariners. Talk about Iwakuma and how well he pitched here tonight. Again, it's coming up right after the ball game. Kyle Seager is now the hitter, 1 for 4. And now Ruiz will head out to talk to Jimenez with a runner at second base. On the outside corner, and it's 0-1. Change of speeds was good there. 89 with a fastball, 82 with that slider. Not a bad spot. He just missed. It's 1-2. That Seattle is just a hair behind Detroit in the wild card. Tigers are tied with the Tampa Bay Rays right now in the 7th inning. Tampa has fallen back under 500. They're at 61 and 63. Losers of 2 straight. 2-2 pitch to Seager. Chopper back toward the middle. Rollins has got it, and he'll throw over to first. And that'll do it for the Mariners here in the top of the 9th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. J-Row will lead it off for the Phils. One last chance, trailing it by 5 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. All fans 14 and under, thanks to the folks at ShopRite, will receive the back-to-school gym bag. Phillies.com is where you can purchase tickets for the upcoming games, including tomorrow's day game and this weekend's series against the St. Louis Cardinals. I didn't realize they still made disposable cameras. That gentleman is trying to get the perfect shot of his Seattle Mariners. All right, so bottom of the ninth inning, Jimmy Rollins will lead it off. And they'll face the left-hander, Charlie Furbish. Furbish is 1-5 with an ERA of 3.63. Denorfia stays in the ballgame to play left field for the Mariners in this 5-0 game. There's Chris Denorfia. There's Jimmy Rollins. It'll be Rollins, Utley, and Ryan Howard. 2, 3, and 4 for the Phils. Only 4 hits tonight, Jimmy. Iwakuma retired the last 11 batters that he faced. The last hit for the Phils was in the 5th inning. It was the single by Cody Ashley, that little bloop over the head of the third baseman. Iwakuma could have easily finished this ball game. He's less than 100 pitches, but Lloyd McClendon has decided to go to the left-hander. But this is another one of those games where the Phillies, who have already been shut out 13 times, are 3 outs away from being shut out for the 14th time. They've also scored 1 or fewer runs 26 times this year.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Breaking ball, it's 0-1.
Well, I'm sure Lloyd was very happy with where Kuma got him tonight, 8 through 8 innings, and they have an 8-man bullpen. Trying to keep those guys fresh and keep them sharp is one of his goals as he gets through the season.
Yeah, I thought maybe they would make an adjustment and take one guy out of the pen and get an extra bat with these National League games.
Well, with as good as their bullpen has been,
right?
I think, you know, if it ain't broke,
they didn't want to
don't fix it, right?
Makes sense. 1-1 pitch to Rollins. He'll foul it toward the on-deck circle on the third base side, and it's 1-2. Check swing. Did Rollins go? No, says Ron Culpa, and that'll even it up at 2-2. Mariners closer is Fernando Rodney. Not that there's been a need for him, but just to kind of let you know, in case there's a need for a close or save tomorrow, or if Phillies somehow put something together here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Ground ball foul past Pete McCann, and it remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. I believe we have an ice bucket challenge in one of the suites. It is cold.
That's great. I saw over the weekend you did yours, Tom.
Yep, I did mine with Matt. The hotel in San Francisco. The best is, you know, Scott Fransky has this slow-mo on his camera, and he did a slow-mo with Matt getting doused. Oh, it was funny. I mean, it was funny. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Rollins. Out of play. I got nominated again today by my buddy Joe Lenardi from St. Joseph's.
You know those St. Joe guys.
Yeah. but I've already done it. Saw the story the other day that the amount of donations is rising every day. It's almost, I think it's up over $7 million or something like that. Outside, ball 4. First base runner for the Phillies since the 5th inning. And here comes Chase Utley. Chase is 0 for 3. He's popped out, he's flied out, and he's grounded out. Chase is 0 for his last 11. His average at 284. So he's going to try to do something with Rollins at first. Rollins, after a 9-pitch at bat, takes a walking lead off first base. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. The Mariners get a right-hander up in the bullpen. They'll keep Furbush in here for Utley and then Howard, and then maybe go to the right-hander with Marlon Byrd due up after Ryan Howard. Breaking ball, 1-1. Yoervis Medina is the right-hander warming up in the pen for the Mariners. Man, look at that beard on Joe Beimel. Whew. Out towards second base. Picked up by Miller. There's one, and not in time to turn the double play. 6-4 on the putout at second base. So fielder's choice, and there's 1 out for Ryan Howard. Kyle Seager will take his spot on the right side of the diamond. He is put out tonight against Ryan Howard on that right side. It's the 5-3 in the 6th inning. Howard doubled in the 4th. Breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1. That was a wicked breaking pitch. Howard must have seen fastball out of his hand, and that's the giveaway tonight. The Ryan Howard bobblehead given out to all fans. Tonight's crowd, 31,000 plus here at Citizens Bank Park. Tried to hold his swing. He went around, says Lance Barksdale. And there are 2 outs. Lloyd McClendon out to the mound. That will probably be it for Furbush. It looks like he's going to go get the right-hander Medina. And he will. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th inning, he's decided to go back to his bullpen. Furbush is done. Phillies down to their last out. top of the Phillies. Marlon Byrd is due up. There's a runner over at first base. And we mentioned that Lloyd McClendon was going back to his bullpen. Yoervis Medina is the new pitcher for Seattle. This is his 51st game. He's a guy that you probably didn't know too much about, but he's one of those kids out of the bullpen that's putting together a heck of a year. A 2.13 ERA. There's Lloyd. We're always watching, Lloyd. We're always watching. Chase Utley's over at first. He reaches on a fielder's choice. By the way, I was way off in my total and what has been raised. It must have been 2 days ago that I last read that article. It's now over 15 million, according to an article in Time magazine. And I'm sure that it's even higher than that at this point. Bird takes a strike. It's 0-1.
And it's not like it's going to end anytime soon.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Which is great.
Somebody asked me to tell you think it's run its course now. I said it might be lower than it was before, but the people are still doing it. We just saw somebody do it in the suites. There's a ball off the glove of Miller, and Utley will continue on the third. He was running on the pitch. He'll score that a base hit for Marlon Byrd. But it's the first hit for the Phils since the 5th.
There's a big hole in the left side from the shortstop over to the Miller over to the second base bag, and it just goes off the tip of his glove. And looked like Miller was playing Marlon Byrd in the hole a little bit. Marlon hit the ball up the middle for a base hit. Chase moves to third base, puts runners on first and third with 2 outs here at the bottom of the 9th inning.
All right, so the Phils with 5 hits now. They trail at 5-0. Bird goes, pitches a strike, 0-1. 96 from Medina on that first offering. Dominic Brown is 0 for 3. Dominic 7 home runs this year, 53 runs batted in. His average with runners in scoring position has just dipped under 300. He was well over 300 for most of the year. And the closer for the Mariners is Fernando Rodney. Not a save situation as of yet. 0-2 to Dominic Brown. There's Chase leading off third, Bird leading off second. Check swing. Did he go? They don't appeal. Here comes a run. Utley will score standing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A wild pitch scores the first run of the night for the Phils here in the 9th. Kyle Seager wants an appeal, but Kerwin Danley is not even looking. Now they appeal. No swing, says Barksdale. I don't know how he could have even said it was a swing at this point. It's close, but they say he held up. So a runner at third. 1 run is in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a line drive toward right center field. That's going to drop for a hit. It gets past Chavez. 1 run is in. Brown heads to second. He'll be there standing. It's a 5-2 ball game. RBI double number 19 for Brown this year. Rick Waits is the pitching coach. swing by Dominic Brown.
Yes, it was, and he squared that ball up well. You could hear that crack up here, Tom. Nice to see Dominic Brown get the head of the bat out and drive that ball in the right center field gap.
Rodney still just warming up right now, waiting. It's not a save situation yet. Swing and a miss. Oh boy, what a big rip by Ruiz. Fastball 96 came diving in. Carlos singled his first at bat against Iwakuma, who went 8 innings, struck out 11.
As a hitter right here, you got to be sitting on a fastball. He is not on the slider yet for a strike. And I mean, you got to, if you're going to hit his fastball, you got to cheat to it anyway at 96.
By the way, this would be a save situation if Rodney came in, because the tying run is in the on deck circle. Oh man, that's got to hurt. 95. Oh boy. Carlos has been hit by 11 pitches. That's going to be it for Medina. Lloyd McClendon's going to waste no more time. He's going to go to Fernando Rodney, his closer. 95 on that fastball that hit Ruiz. Another pitching change. The tying run is coming to the plate for the Phils. And for Fernando Rodney, he'll come on to face Cody Ashe. Another pitching change for the Mariners here in the home ninth. Philly sports do you want to talk about? Tweet at PST on CSN, and Michael Barkan could discuss your tweet on Philly Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business, weeknights at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet. Bottom half of the ninth inning with 2 outs, runners on first and second. The Mariners 5, the Phillies 2. Phillies down to their final out, but they have been for the last few batters. And Cody Ashe is going to be the hitter to face Fernando Rodney, who's had a fabulous year. 35 saves, a 2.29 ERA. He was an all-star this year. Second in the American League in those 35 saves. Chris Woodward is aligning the defense. He's their infield coach and a very good shortstop of his own at one point. Ashe's 1 for 3. Boy, that's a tough strike. A change up toward the outside part of the plate, and it's 0-1. Now Rodney had no expectation to come into this ball game, which is the life of a closer. I mean, maybe in the back of his mind, he thought, all right, if there's a little trouble, I'll get up and I'll get ready. I don't know how long it takes him to get ready. It's a very warm night. But he wasn't throwing for that long out in the bullpen. Way outside, 2-1.
His effort in the bullpen didn't look like it was 100% either. We'll see how he deals with this situation.
207 career saves. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ashe. Oh boy, that's a heck of an off-speed pitch right there. Had him way out front on that changeup.
When you have this pitch in your arsenal, the bottom just drops out of it. I mean, that's a pitch that Rodney could probably throw consecutively 3, 4, 5 times and have success with it. Not necessarily saying right here, but I'm just saying in particular situations.
Not really a complicated motion to the plate either for Rodney. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, says Lance Barksdale. And that's the ball game. The Phillies threaten here in the 9th inning, but are only able to muster 2 runs as the Mariners take game 2 by a final of 5-2. All right, see what you think. Lance Barksdale said that Ashe went around. Well, it looked like he had stopped, and then it looked like it flowed toward the top of the zone. And again, it's one of those that can go either way. It did look like he did break his wrist and went around for the final out. So the Phils leave a couple. They score a couple in the 9th inning. Our Chevrolet player of the game, though, was the guy they call Kuma for the Seattle Mariners.
Kuma, he had all of his pitches working tonight. And right there, he starts the game off with a split. Had a good fastball, which he was able to keep down. Had a very good, tight, late-breaking slider. Beat Jimmy Rollins there with a fastball. There's a split right there to Marlon Byrd. You know, this is how this guy's pitched all season long. You can see his effectiveness with keeping his pitches down. Didn't really need to elevate pitches up, but he got some borderline pitches down for called strikes. He had total control of the game. And he is our Chevrolet player of the game.
3 interleague road starts for Yu Akuma so far this year. He still has not allowed a run. 5-2 the final score. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.